Ercha, I would present, and lay in order to arrange, prepare, and estimate. Arech, as to see and understand light. Given letter ayin is like an eye that reflects the world outside and also reveals the world inside. And noticing that therefore it is important is what you see, how you perceive things, and how deep inside you are revealing who you are. And ayin is an adorned letter. Given the crownlet that he has, those are called the tagim. And there are 7 letters who get these crownlets. To remember, Sha'at Nezaged, Shin Ayin Tet, Nun Zayin Gimel Tzadi, menial and sofit forms. So therefore adorned, and Reish, art of clarification, after rectification of ego, and shaken by Yireh Yehovah, the fear of God, and therefore clarified as a fitted mirror of the true something, beginning of the end. And Chav, Sofit with the Sheva, is letting sit Kavana, spiritual focus, to aim at ridding mind of all distractions, envisioning yourself as standing before divine presence, and it follows Lefanav, in front of presence and face, from Panim, and also from Pana. And we covered this before with To'akatharaton Numa, who wanted to return. That was not Shuv, however he craved to be attached to the tent, but rather through the mouth, Pana, Pe, into life, given in it's alive, and in the spirit, his breath. But in this case is in the presence of God, Panim. Therefore vocalization and speech, noticing Pe is of Gematria 80, and in Panim you consider that Pe follows Ayin, understanding and awareness, and therefore verbal exposition, otherwise it would be blind consumption and mindless chatter. And Nun as faithful, noticing that is also a crown letter as well. Remember, She'ed Nezgetz. And Yod is in prayer, therefore faithful in prayer before him of all these concealed waters. Mishpat, my cause, judgment as presented, and a verdict as the findings of a jury on issues of fact, given that Eov hated suffering is for real, and is from Shofet, but it starts with Mem with a chiarik, nullification, this egotism that freezes impending spiritual ascent. On Shofet in pondering all these assumptions and brought to finality, to judgment. Ufi, and my mouth as the edge. Pe, to scatter to the edge this broken vessel, however hated he may be, is from Ba'a. Scatter into the 4 corners, break in pieces and shatter. We couldn't hear that. What do you say? And shatter. But before that, he needs to scatter. What he plans to scatter is emelei, fill, full, gather, and satisfy. Given that the jury has to be presented a good case, not evidence that is empty as of empty bags, but filled, mala, as being immersed of these yokes and goadings. Move. And Aleph as feeling close to God and distant from him at the same time, with commitment to Torah and mitzvot, plural of mitzvah, command, therefore commandments. Given that Aleph is a vav that separates his yod with ours. But how does it feel it is Tochachot, rebukes, corrections, refutations, and proof, arguments and reasonings, including chiding, rebuking at a person harshly. How dare you let this happen? It's not fair. And תוכחות, this marking and sign, and is from יחך, reproof, rebuke, plead, interestingly, because this is like a judgment case, and to reason, יחך, and therefore תוכחות is this markings and signs, and with this hook or nails of these specks that are annoying, that has caused Jehovah to be tamed. However, in understanding them, given the chav, disorder, rebellion, and almost to the point of betrayal. Given chav is being separated, and therefore disturbed, hey, and seeking for grace. But how can he find it? Well, the verse before it reads, Mi yitain, oh, that I would. However, is me and nothing. Me as whom, who, would that. Given the waters of who works it is Jehovah, and therefore me is an interrogative pronoun of persons. Different from ma, because ma concerning two things. You say, ma, what? But me is who, whom, would that. Yitain, grant me, give me, nothing, as a seed that has been marked to continuity and righteous fruitfulness. Yadati, that I would know. Yade, as he works at my doors or dominion, that I may perceive him. Noticing that the crownlet is on the left eye, and not the right one where it should be the main point of focus, as to perceive ואמצאהו, and where I might find him, as to encounter and meet him, to attain to matzah. We do remember from our previous study matzah as when to'akatharto numa finds it empty, swept, and garnished, or adorned, or prepared. But in this case is Jehovah, who is immersed, mem, gematria 40, which is half of pay or phase gematria, 80, and therefore immersed of all these trails, tzadi, as a humbled and faithful servant, bent in submission with hands lifted to heaven, or is the Spirit of God working on him, and being brought to unity, aleph, and he follows, Aво, that I might come, as his tent and our tents being joined, connected, the vav, with the cholam in his power to forgive, and also brought to unity, and cholam, the dot above vav, makes it pronounce O, it also depicts beauty and mercy, self-nullification before him. Id techuna, to his seat. And this is different from kisei, his throne, because it is hidden and concealed. But he wants to appeal to come before him to his seat. And you would say, hey, well, this is interesting, because if this would have been all English, we would have missed that the final words of both verses are quite similar. We started with תוכחות, rebukes, refutations and proofs, as chidings. But תכונה is his seat. He starts with the same tav, representing his impression of divinity. Noticing that there is 600,000 letters in the Torah, and also speaks of divine power, of continuity, present in the end. And didn't we notice that from Arech when we started in preparing and laying order? Because one wants to be clarified as a fitted mirror of the true something to have the beginning of the end. And therefore we go to him, because for him there is no end. He is from Aleph to Tav, from Alpha to Omega. And therefore we solicit power of God to be made manifest, Chaf. And is also the same word from which this word, Techuna, comes from, Kun. prepared, established, ready, and fixed. And they follow the same pattern. Vav with a milupim is secured fruitfulness and to multiply. And nun sofit in the case of kun is continuity towards fruitfulness. However, in the menial form of nun, as a faithful, however humbled and submissive servant, receiving, grace. So from being disturbed, tוכחות, to solicit his power to forgive, give aבוא, and towards fruitfulness and continuity. And at times we may feel like so far from God, but he always displays his grace. We can always come not to the throne, but to his תכונתו, his seat, in presenting his case before him, that he would help us to see him. It is almost hard to distinguish what we want to reflect of this world outside and reflecting the world inside. We have been so corrupted. And also given that letter ayin has that crown on the left eye, and it is a shame, that God would help us to see him, his provision, yadעת, that we may know as he works in our minds, or that through his spirit we may perceive him, that we may מצא, find him, and receive from him of his תכונתו, his grace, that he would establish us, kun, to prepare us to being fruitful and to continue in his grace. And is what keeps us going. These experiences at times might be devastating. We didn't cover, but it's interesting that on all this trail is not a trail of water, although it says immersed, but it's immersed in these trails, because the word for river or stream or large stream is nahar, underground stream, given nahar as a life that reveals at the top. And whenever there is subterraneous waters and there is flooding, that's where you get the word ποταμού from the book of Apocalypse, Jesu Christu. In the final chapter, it reads about a river. And starting on verse 1, and he shewed me a pure ποταμόν, húdatos zoes, of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding ek tu thronu tu Theou, kai tu areniu, the throne of Theou and of the Lamb. But this is not the case, because there is no mem in Nahar, given that it's a stream or river for which life reveals at the top when it's maturing. But however, in all these experiences and all these trails, the main focus is that our eyes are constantly being exercised in seeking for his grace. We cannot live by ourselves. Without his help or without his word, we are doomed to not understanding why things happen. And as Job, a hated patriarch, we can still suffer persecution every day. However, we reflect this world outside, but we let the words of God lead us to receiving grace and his mercy. However, there is a enemies around us. Catharton Numa wanting to get in, the world getting a piece of our minds, even our families and our friends. Excuse me.
Se para calor, hace-me sujo.
Where were we? Oh yeah, right. Are they even helping us to walking closer to him? Not really. Where it is all these experiences how we exercise grace. And to complete verse 5, it says, ידעת, I would know, milim, the words, יענני, which he would answer me, ואבינו, me yomer li, and understand what he would say to me. And he's not amer when he says words, he says milah. And different from male, milah from malel is to speak, to utter, as he said, as an utterance. his word and discourses. And that's where you get also devarim. In that case, discourses. But in this case, is speech and words. As being immersed in the instruction of his word, of his order, and receive a grace, his hey. That only by his hey we can say, hey, we can make it all the way, no matter what. But thank you for being patient with me and hoping that I would learn patience as well. That I may not blow out, but all the more leaving it all to you. For thou art gracious and kind, that we may suffer together. For even though I perceive that you don't work, you do. And I only appeal to thy miracles every day. I come to thy seat because it all starts with a sign of hope, that you will establish us, that we may continue, even though it seems the end, it is the beginning of the end in thy sight. Amen. And help us, Jesus. Intercede for us, and help us, Ruach HaKodesh, to keep on being set apart for him and him alone, and nothing in our limited understanding and our humanity ever interfering. Give us the strength that in the Spirit to live for and with thee today. Amen. For this cause I left Grady, rejected, cut off, so that the nurse caring for the sick and young ones, katakoinin, pistin, charis, helios, herein, to set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain the very experienced in every city blameless, husband of one wife, faithful children, hos Theou oikono. לפניו משפט, ופיהם מלא תוכחות ותוכחות, מי ייתן ידעתי ואמצאהו אבוא את תכונתו, ידע מילים ידעתי ואמצאהו